Barakateh Hawa, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Move Over Heathens, the Lord is Coming. And pretty much this lesson is inspired by a video I was watching earlier called It's All Coming to an End, the brother GMS Universal 2. Brother out there in England, I believe the brother's from, because of the license plate. Then he saw 444 on the license plate, which is beautiful. And, it put that thought or that title in my mind. So, Lord's will, we'll get into it. It'll be an edifying lesson. I had a couple of scriptures came to mind I wrote down, but for the most part, we're just going to go in the spirit, see where the spirit leads it. One thing we want to start off with is because you got to understand that these rulerships that you see going on in the world today were set up by the Lord himself. Matter of fact, let's start off with that. They were set up by the Lord himself, and they have a time to rule and they have a time to fall. Let's get those two precepts and then let's move on. So every empire had their beginning, every empire had their end. Matter of fact, another one just came to mind. Let's go to Ecclesiastes. Every empire had a beginning, every empire had an end. And that's been the same story throughout the ages, as we've been in this world, going back to the beginning all the way up until present day, 2022, the year of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai turning up. So Ecclesiastes 9:11 says, I returned and saw under the sun that the race, see, what race? The race to being or becoming like a world empire, world rulership, and in general, just to be in that power seat. It says, it's not to the swift, it's not how fast you could run, nor the battle to the strong. It's not about how strong you are, neither yet bread to the wise or how wise you are. Because these are things that people, that men, aspire to be. They think because they're either fast or strong or wise, that that qualifies them, to move to the next level, so to speak. But it's not all about that. It's about the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Matter of fact, let's get this real quick. Little side step. Jeremiah 9:23. It says, thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches. And that's another one, riches. But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me. Do you understand how privileged we are? How beautiful it is to be able to understand, to know, to have the wisdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, especially in these times and the things that are going on. So these are the things that we're supposed to be glorying in, that we understand the Lord. Like when the 70 were glorying in the fact that spirits were subject unto them. But Yahushua said, don't glory in that. Glory in the fact that your names are written in heaven. But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So when we glory in the understanding and knowing the Lord is pleased with that. These are things that are pleasing unto the Lord, right? So going back, it says, nor yet riches to men of understanding, right? So it's not about how swift you are, how strong you are, how wise you are, how much understanding you have, or how rich you are, nor yet favor to men of skill, because everybody has some type of skill, whatever the case may be, but it's not all about that. But time and chance happeneth to them all. So everyone has a time and a chance. So all of these different empires that have ruled have a time and a chance where they were set up to rule. All right. Let's see. Where were we? So let's move on to this Psalm 75 and 5. Lift not up your horn on high. The horn represents power. All right. On high meaning in the top position, because that's what everybody is striving for. All of these nations are competing with each other financially, militarily, technologically. For what? For the advancement to get to that first or that top position. As they say, king of the mountain. Right? Speak not with a stiff neck. Right. That pride. For promotion. What is promotion? Meaning to be elevated from one position to another. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. So it's not something that you elect, select, vote. That's not the way that promotion comes. And when we look at the word promotion, is the word rawam, which means exaltation, to be exalted to that top position. To rise up, be high, be lofty, be exalted, uplifted. All right. So that doesn't come by any other way than by this. But the Most High is the judge. The Lord is the one that's judging the matters. He's given the judgment on the planet Earth as to what is and what ain't. Who rules, who doesn't rule. Who's coming next and who's not. And now if you understand prophecy, you understand history, you understand the times that we're living in. We're living in the very end of the fourth beast in the book of Daniel. We're living at the end of the vision of Nebuchadnezzar, the image that he saw with the head of gold and the feet part of iron, and the toes part of iron and part of miry clay. These are the times that we're living in. So knowing that, we know that after that whole thing goes down, then the kingdom of Yahushua will be established / the kingdom of Yasha'Allah, the kingdom of Yahushua and the kingdom of Yasha'Allah. So that being the case, we know why all of these things are happening worldwide. We know why there are so many, calamities and so many things happening around the world, because we're in the time of the end. We're in the time when the Lord is about to uproot the ones that are and put in place the ones that are not. All right. There's a scripture like that. In time, the Lord will set up one that they didn't think, something like that. I believe that's Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter. But let me just get this other precept so I don't forget it. So it says, but the Most High is a judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. So there was a putting up and a setting down of many different empires in the past. So we're coming to the point of what? Where this particular empire, which is the last empire to rule, once it's taken down, Yahushua is going to be set up. This is why the prophecy states that when Yahushua comes back, he's coming back to take down the Edomites out of rulership, because Esau is the end of the world. Now we go to Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a what? A season. And to every purpose, and a time to every purpose. So you have a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Every empire had their moment in the sun. Whether it was 5 years, 10 years, 8 years, 100 years, 400 years, 500, however long period of time they were set up to rule, that was what they were going to rule. They weren't going to rule 1 second longer, which leads us to this other precept that I have here in the book of Job 14:5. Seeing his days are what? Determined. The number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So when we look up the word determined, The word there is charatazah, which goes back to the word diligent. To cut, sharpen, decide, decree, determine, maim, move, be decisive, be mutilated. So we're looking at the word decide or determine. Seeing his days are determined, right? The word determine, cause something to occur in a particular way. Be the decisive factor in, right? So they were given a certain period of time to rule. They were given the blueprint of what the next empire would be after this empire, in pretty much consecutively, one after the other. Ascertain or establish exactly, typically as a result of research or calculation, but the point is cause something to occur in a particular way, be the decisive factor in. And in this case, to ascertain or establish exactly, typically as a result of research or calculation, these are the research and calculations of what? Of the scriptures, the things that are written. Let's go to real quick Isaiah 42 and 9. It says, behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. So this is what? Through careful examination of the scriptures, of the prophecy, we see that the things that are happening now are the very telltale signs that the end is coming. You know? Everything is being manifested the way it was spoken, the way it was written, the way it was foretold. And we're at the point now where there's going to be a great shifting, or changing of the guard. And that's what we see happening right now. So through the words of the prophets, which come from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai through the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, Ruach, the kingdom of heaven is being established on the earth verbally right now. The heralding, the announcement of the kingdom is being established. Then after the announcement is established, then comes the judgment to finally bring an end to all these heathen nations and set up the kingdom of Yahushai / Yasha Allah, because we're joint heirs with Yahushai. And that's what you see happening right now throughout the whole planet. It's not a coincidence that the word of the Lord through the Hebrew Israelites is being taught all over the world. This word has inspired many brothers out there in different parts of the world to speak and to teach and to usher in the kingdom of Yahushai. It's no coincidence that you have brothers in the land of Africa out there teaching. It's no coincidence that you have brothers all throughout Europe teaching. It's no coincidence that you have brothers in Australia, in different parts of the world. South America, Central America, Mexico, America, Canada, Hawaii, in all those different places. It's no coincidence, that you have people out there, even though they're kind of going off in the Philippines, exalting the name of Yahushai. They're going off on certain things, but they're exalting the name of Yahushai because the world is being prepared and prepped, which is the same word, for the introduction of the Son of the Most High. Because for a long time, who he is, what he stands for, what he looks for, or what he looks like, what his message is, has been hidden. And now it's being brought to light. And people are getting the sense of what to expect in the coming kingdom. Because everyone, the majority of the world, even though now people are starting to wake up, but still a good portion of the world is still expecting the so-called white Jesus, so-called Jesus, to come out of the sky. The scriptures say that all eyes shall see him. And when they see him, they're going to see him for who he really is, as a so-called very dark-skinned, so-called black man with an afro coming through the clouds, coming in the chariots, with the angels to come and deliver his elect of the nation of Israel and to destroy these heathen kingdoms. This is what we read in prophecy. Many different forms, many different shapes, many different allegories, many different symbolisms, all throughout the scriptures, the prophetic scriptures of Yahushua is coming. Nevertheless, it's all the same story told over and over again in different forms. And this is what we see going on. It says, sing unto the Lord a new song, which that's what we're doing through the Spirit, because the old song has been taught. People are tired of hearing that old song. This is why you have a lot of people leaving Renaissance Christianity, because that's an old song. That's a slave song. That's a song to keep you asleep. That's a song to keep the master above and us below. That's a song to keep the slave subservient to the master. But now the new song is being taught, and the new song sounds way different than the old song. The old song is off key. The old song is doctored up. The new song is on key. It's in the right tone. It's very pleasant. To the ears, to those that are to receive that salvation. It says, and his praise from the end of the earth, which we're in the end of the earth right now. And it's heavy because this is where the actual teachings that are being taught right now around the world of Hebrew Israelites started. Because the Lord prophesied that the disciples would preach the word in the ends of the earth. It says, ye that go down to the sea, and all that is therein, the isles and the inhabitants thereof. Let the wilderness and the cities thereof lift up their voice. The villages that Kedar doth inhabit, let the inhabitants of the rocks sing. Let them shout from the top of the mountains. Let them give glory unto the Lord and declare his praise in the islands. Why? Because you have Israelites scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And this is why in Isaiah 11 it speaks about the Lord coming back and recovering his elect from the four winds of the heaven. And it gives you locations. It gives you, places where we've been scattered to that are going to wake up and come back to the Lord. The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies. So the Lord is coming back to do this thing. So move over, heathens. The Lord is coming. It says, I have long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once. And this is once the introduction is done, then the action begins. You see? I will make waste mountains and hills, meaning different governments, big governments and small governments, and dry up all their herbs. And I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools. Right? All of this stuff that you see going on, all of these rulerships, they're all going to be taken down. And I will bring the blind by a way they knew not. Right? And that's what's happening right now. So before the Lord brings the destruction, he's causing the elect to wake up. And he's causing the ones that are not a part of the elect to hear the word so that there will be no excuse. It says, I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them and not forsake them. Right? Because everybody else forsakes us. Scriptures say, O Jerusalem, who shall bemoan thee? Everybody's concerned with everybody else. All nations are concerned with the hardships of every other nation. But nobody gives a fuck about us. They don't care about us. You know that Michael Jackson song? Well, he found that out. He turned white, and he still, didn't get the respect that he thought that he merited after all those years of licking Esau's ass. They shall be turned back. They shall be greatly ashamed that trust in graven images. Correct. Because when the Lord comes, he's only coming for his elect. That say to the molten images, you are our God. So now, let's go from there. Let's go back to Job 14:5. Seeing his days are determined. So his days have been established. There was a starting date and there was an ending date. And we're coming down to the very last days of your ruling and your rulership. It says, the number of his months are with thee. With who? With the Most High, Yahweh. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So let's go to the word appointed. The word there is Aisha, which is to make, to do, fashion, accomplish. So thou hast appointed or made his bounds. The word for bounds is kach. Statute, ordinance, limit. See? So the Lord established their limits. What are the limits? How much he's going to conquer, how far he's going to go in the deep, in the sky, and also how long he's going to rule for. It says that he cannot pass. And Yahushua already said it, except those days be shortened, there shall no flesh be left to be saved. Because as you brothers already know, and you few sisters, this devil is on the loose. This devil is on the loose. He is a madman on the loose. And you see, they're coming out. They're not even hiding it anymore. They're coming out saying, look, we don't need God. We can piss him off as much as we want. We got all the technology we need. If he doesn't want to give us rain, we'll make it rain. I mean, the pride of these devils is through the roof. But remember, Pharaoh lifted up his heart, even though the Lord hardened his heart. And the Lord, once he got to the very end where he was at his pinnacle of pride, that's when the Lord brought him down completely. And he was still proud. Nebuchadnezzar was at the height of his power, proud. And what did the Lord do? He reduced him to a beast. He gave him some act right. And eventually, after he came out of that beastly state, he acknowledged the power of the Lord. The Lord humbled his ass. And that's what the Lord is about to do to Esau. He's about to humble Esau's ass. So move over, heathens. The Lord is coming. All right, so we got that. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant, because all of these empires had their time where they were planted, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. This is talking about physically as far as planting seeds and picking up seeds or plucking seeds, but it's also talking about these different empires. They came, they were established, they conquered, and eventually they fell, and now it's time for the Edomite Empire to fall. A time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. So we're in a time of breaking down Esau's system and building the kingdom of heaven. You see? And that's the natural order of things. In order for one to go down, the other one has to be broken. So 2 Ezra 4:26, then answered he me and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel, for the world hastens fast to pass away. Why? Because as we read here, there's a time to break down and a time to build. So it goes on to say, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. Right. And that's why the world is so fucked up. So it says, but as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, but the destruction is not yet come. So the evil is sown, but the destruction hasn't come yet. Why? Let's go real quick to Isaiah 26:18. We have been with child, we have been in pain, we have as it were brought forth wind. Because that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for deliverance. And every time we found ourselves in a bad predicament, what were we looking for? We were looking for the mercies of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua to come and deliver us. We have not wrought any deliverance in the earth. Yeah, because all nations are established. All nations have, their rulerships. But we're still, subjects and slaves to these devils. The captive exile hasteneth that he may be loosed, and that he should not die in the pit. Because this right here, this is actually a death sentence. America is a death sentence. And the way things are going, it's going to even be worse, because the more people increase in knowledge, to be able to eat a healthier lifestyle, these devils are destroying everything, corrupting everything, bringing everything online to where you're going to be subject to eating what they give you. It says, neither have the inhabitants of the world fallen, which is who? These devils, these Edomites. The other nations too, but mainly these Edomites, because they're the ones that are in the top position. So it goes on to say in 2 Ezra 4:29, if therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, meaning what? Broken down, plucked. And if the place where the evil is sown, evils, is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. Why? Because the kingdom of heaven can be established when the wicked beareth rule. As the brother just put the precept up. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So the world is in a state of mourning because of the rulers. They are not fair. It's all about them. They are the wicked. For the grain of evil seed hath been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning. So all you see that's going on right now, the evilness and the wickedness and all of that stuff that's going on, it goes all the way back to the beginning. And how much ungodliness has it brought up unto this time? And how much shall it yet bring forth unto the time of threshing come? You see? That's why we know that this is the end. This is it for these devils. Because what we're witnessing in the world right now is wickedness amplified throughout the four corners of the earth. And what happens when wickedness gets to a certain level? The Lord has to come in and do his thing. Genesis 6:5. And Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of the heart was only evil continually. Yeah, and how much more now where they have all this knowledge and technology that they're using to increase this wickedness. It says, and it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. Because the scriptures say that the Most High made man upright, but they sought out many inventions. And the Lord said, I will what? Destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast. And that's what we're witnessing right now, which is about to happen. The only difference is not going to be done the same way the first death was done, which was through the flood. It's going to be done by the second death, which are which is the fire from the missiles and the lasers from the chariots, and the creeping thing and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Why? Because back then Noah represented the elect. Those 8 people in the ark represented the elect. A very small number. And the people back then, they had multiplied. And there's no way to know how many people were actually back then. But in these times, there are about 8 billion people on the planet. Going back to 1800 something, I can't remember the exact date. There were about 1 billion people on the planet. Less than 100 years later, there were 2 billion. And then they started progressively increasing to where from the early 1900s until now, there have been another 6 billion people added to the humans to this day. And it's my belief, going back when I first ran across that information, that the Lord is doing that because he's bringing a whole lot of spirits back on the earth because he's about to bring judgment. And he's going to get a lot of people are going to get fucked up, in these times. He's coming to bring judgment. It says, these are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generation, and Noah walked with the Most High. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And by these 3 sons was the whole earth repopulated after the flood. The earth also was corrupt before the Most High. And how much more now? We just read here where the angel told, Ezra, that the earth from the time of Adam till the time when he was on the scene, which was about 400 or 500 BC, was totally corrupt. And he said, how much shall it yet be bring forth unto the time of threshing come? Right. So how much more wicked will it become unto the time of threshing, the time of destruction? It says, the earth also was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence. And the Most High looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And what we see right now, through the harlot, this whore, America, Babylon the Great, pushing that cup of iniquity, that wine, that Babylonian juice on the world, they're getting the minds of the people geared to wickedness. This is why over there, what was that? Was that, I'm not sure where, in Iran, right? You had these women, one woman got killed, I guess, by some type of police, some special police they set up, to keep these hoes in check, right? Because the thing that was on her head, I forgot what it's called, it wasn't on properly, so they could knock her in the head with one of those clubs. And they said they bashed her head on the truck or the Jeep, and and eventually she died. So you have a whole bunch of women over there protesting, and they took that thing, whatever it's called, on their head and threw it in the fire, burning it. Rebelliousness from these women, because women are supposed to be covered up. But this is America pushing that same women's lib bullshit that was started by the Rockefellers here in America around the world, and these nations ain't having it. And a lot of times when you see these women that start shit around the world, they kind of look like those nations, but they're really small hats that have infiltrated in there and are doing those things. Those are the main fucking parasites. Because they're trying to push that whole Babylonian juice doctrine upon the world. And it's becoming more and more corrupt, especially now where the vehicle of information has been opened on such a broad scale, to where you can put something on these different social medias and they'll spread across the world quickly in a matter of minutes, seconds. So it says, and the Most High said unto Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me. So we're coming to this point now in these times. For the earth is filled with violence through them, through the people. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. And then the Lord told him to make him an ark. And he told him how to make it, how to build it, how high to build it, what to put in it. You know, we put a door and a window. Made it of 3 stories and so on and so forth. And you already know what happened, you know, at the end of the whole deal. When Noah entered into the ark, then it started to rain. So at the same thing now, when the Lord is bringing that destruction, the elect are going to be beamed up into the chariots. And when they're beamed up into the chariots, brother, case closed. Let's go to Isaiah 26 real quick. And 20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers. What are the chambers? The chariots. And shut thy doors about thee, because the Lord shut the doors in the ark. That's why they couldn't. The people couldn't open it, because the Most High himself had the angels shut that door and keep that door shut. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, because it's only going to take 1 hour to devastate this place. It's going to take 1 hour to take down the rulerships of the world, as to where it took all of these thousands of years to cultivate and build and set up and establish. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. So this is what the times that we're coming into. So let's go to Daniel chapter 7 verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow. This is the Most High Yahweh. And the hair of his head like the pure wool. He had an afro. He was a so-called black man with an afro. A woolly afro. Nothing to do with white. It just said, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. Afro. Whew. Blowout. That's his crown. And he also has a crown too. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. That represents the chariots. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. These are the angels. The judgment was set, and the books were open. So how were the books open? By the action that took place of the judgment coming forth. Yahweh Shaphat. Jehoshaphat, the judgment of Yahweh. And this goes hand in hand with the, I believe they call it the white throne judgment in book of Revelation 20, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me. I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. Well, that's okay. Yeah, this is dealing with America. I beheld even till the beast was slain, because that's what's coming. The destruction of this whole beast system. All of the different Edomite empires being brought down. And his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of devastation. America, Babylon the Great, that little horn is going to be totally annihilated. From east to west, from north to south. And other places around the world. As concerning the rest of the beasts, which are the other nations, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. Right. Because once the kingdom is established and they've served their captivity, they will be able to be able to go to their lands and govern among themselves, but still be tributary to us. Then it says, I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven. This is Yahweh Shai, coming with the clouds, which are the chariots, the angels, and came to him, to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him, and there was given him dominion, right? Because the Lord, the Most High, gave him that dominion, because Yahweh Shai was faithful and is faithful, and he accomplished the work that he did. This is why when he was on the cross, the last thing he said was, "It is done." Because he finished his work. My meat is to do the will of him that sent me, and to finish his work. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. Right, because all nations are going to bow to our Lord Yahushai and to us. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. So I don't know what Elder Lahab's talking about, that once the kingdom is established, Esau is going to get back in power and take us over. Madness. All right, let's go to the book of Revelation. And after this, Lord's will, I'm going to take a quick look at the comment board and then end the lesson. If the spirit is, if the spirit is dwindling, then we'll end the lesson there. Revelation 11:15. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms. Oh, you know what? Before I read that, one precept just came back to mind, which I had written down, but I forgot to go to it. Luke 21:24. It says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, meaning the Israelites, and shall be led away captive into all nations, because this goes hand in hand with what? With 70 AD. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So all nations have had their footprints all in that land. And they're going to be in there until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. We come into that time. The time when all these nations will be destroyed and taken out of the way. So move over, heathens. The Lord is coming. And that's how we know that those small hats that are in that land are not the people. They are heathens that are in that land until the Lord comes back and stomps them out and sets up his kingdom on the earth. All right. So Revelation 11, it says, and the seventh angel sounded, and 15, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his anointed, and he shall reign forever and ever. Forever, ever, 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 ever. All right. So this is the point that we're at, where these kingdoms are going to be transferred over to Yahushai. So move over, heathens. The Lord is coming. So let me see what we got on the comment board. I'm gonna start from the bottom here. Ecclesiastes 10:8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to the other. That's right. This is where we're at with it. There's about to be a great transfer. You can read the book of Job 20, and that gives you the whole blueprint. Amos 9:8, this was dealing with Israel at one time. Now it applies to Esau. Behold, the eyes of the Lord power upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. And this place is going to be totally annihilated. Saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, save the Lord. Why? Because he made a promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Zephaniah 1:18, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance. It's going to be light work for the Lord. Of all them that dwell in the land. Right, so this whole shithole is going to go up in flames. Because they're not going to be able to go a second longer. They're not going to be able to keep their kingdom going. Like the scriptures say, the inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever until all generations. But that's not the case. All right. And they're going to try to go into their bunkers. But guess what? The bunkers are going to fail them. They're not going to be able to establish themselves. You know? Wow, my brother's lighting this comment board up. Matter of fact, let me start here. Lamentations 4:22. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. Yeah, because our punishment is up. That's why in Isaiah it says, comfort ye, my people. Tell her that a warfare is accomplished. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. And before the Lord destroys you, he discovers you. That's in 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8. Micah 5:15. And I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. Damn. Total annihilation. So move over, heathens. The Lord is coming. Job 21:30, that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction. They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Total devastation and destruction. Daniel 7:18, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. There ain't going to be no once the kingdom is established, Esau is going to find a loophole and somehow get in there, and take us back down. Because he would have to take the Most High down, Yahweh down, the angels, Come on, man. That's foolishness. Psalms 34:21, evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate. Psalms 9:19, arise, O Lord, let not man prevail. Let the heathen be judged in thy sight. Verse 20, put them in fear, O Lord, that the nations may know themselves to be but men. Selah, that's right. That's right. Proverbs 2:21, for the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. Beautiful. It says, but the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressors shall be rooted out of it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Proverbs 17:12, let a bear robbed of her whelps meet a man, rather than a fool in his folly. Let's see. Ooh, wow. Psalms 47:1-4. Oh, clap your hands, all ye people. Shout unto the Most High with the voice of triumph. For the Lord Most High is terrible. He is a great king over all the earth. He shall subdue the people under us, and the nations under our feet. He shall choose our inheritance for us, the excellency of Jacob, whom he loves. Selah. Wow. That was a mouthful right there. All right. Salaka, man, you brothers are lighting the comment board up. So you know what? I ended off with this one here. Proverbs 16:4, the Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. I had to throw that one in there for the brother, the upcoming Elder Hawad, the head of the other North Carolina camp. Romans 9:22. What if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? Because from the moment Esau was created, he was set up for failure. He was set up for destruction. All right? And that's why when we read Revelation, the 17th chapter, it says that when this particular head, or whatever the case was, or this particular head gets into power, they were going to be set up into power for what? To go into perdition, to destruction. All right? So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.